Hello, fellow collectors of the internet, and welcome to my channel. You can call me Faz. Today, I want to share some tips for you to make your own Ancient One action figure from the Hasbro Marvel Legends action figure line. But keep in mind that I'm not really a customizer. I'm just a beginner, as you can see from the channel name. So this is not gonna be those customs that you're gonna go like, oh my god, that is so good. It's just gonna be like, yeah, that's an ancient one. So this video is really directed to fellow collectors who are just starting to start customizing, fellow beginners like me, and you want to start a custom of yourself of this ancient one figure, but you don't know where to start or what parts of figure would look good or good enough for an ancient one figure. So I will be guiding you or giving some advice on what parts to use and how I did them. It does the job and I like it. You might not, but that's okay. Wanted to make this figure because my collection is almost complete. My MCU collection is almost complete, and there's just 6 or 7 characters that I think are necessary, but they haven't made it yet. But I'm just doing this because Hasbro has not released an Ancient One figure, and I don't think they're going to anytime soon. And since I really want one for my collection, I decided to make one, although it's really just a kit bash, kinda, with some repaint. So some of you might ask that why didn't you just make a clothing type of material for a female basic figure and you can call it Ancient One? First of all, I don't like soft goods on my figures because I have some kind of OCD and I just don't like how it falls down, and it's just, I think it's messy and it's not for me. If you like it, then go ahead and do it, but I don't like it, so I'm gonna have to take parts of other figures. And also, if you are considering of paying other customizers to do this custom, it can be quite pricey. So this is just an alternative, so you can get an Ancient One figure that's good enough, that I think is good enough, but with really little money compared to what you will pay if you like order custom cloth, soft goods, or you ordered a completely new custom by a professional customizer. So in this video, I will tell you what kit bash parts of other figures that I use, better alternatives price wise, or that you can better find, and how I made it, or the process, and obviously the result will show you that. So 4 of those things you should look forward to. And I will not use expensive figures as much as possible, so it'll be like some kind of junk or like some figures that you would find in a dollar store or Five Below, because it's not selling so well. It's peg warmer, so it will not hurt your wallet as much. Or maybe you just have some of these figures laying around because you bought it because it was cheap, or you just have it and don't know what to do with them because you don't really like it. That's a possibility. So this is the fixed product of the custom figure or kit bash figure, whatever you want to call it, that I made. First of all, we're gonna take a look at the hood. The hood that I use is not the best, but this comes from the Hydra 2-pack figures. It is one of the heads, and I believe it is a reissue of the Taskmaster, one of the Taskmaster head, and it comes with the head and the hood. And I got it from a Facebook group of in my country that sells junk figures, and I got it pretty cheap, like for, I don't know, $4. And I painted yellow. But there are better alternatives, like look wise, that you can go for it, but it's a little bit pricey, but this is the cheapest that I can find. But some other great alternatives are the Doom figure, the recently released one. I think both of them, but especially the modern look, will look really good on the ancient one, because it just, if you look at the picture on the Google on how ancient one look with the hood, it is exactly like that one. Or if you have another Taskmaster figure, both of the heads have hoods, and I think both will look good. But yeah, the hood is not really the strongest point of this figure, I don't think. Like, sometimes it looks alright, but sometimes it kind of looks awkward. It can look awkward. I like it better with the hood off, honestly. But if you think it look good, do it. But yeah, now let's move on to the head. The head is actually from a junk figure that I get. It's from a basic Captain Marvel figure, this one. And I bought it because it was cheap. It was at a really low discount, and I need the hair part for my Captain Marvel one, because she appeared with longer hair in Endgame, and I really want that look with the head, so I use it for that. But it works out so well, so I have this head that is unused, and I was like, I need a female head, a bald one, for this action figure, so I just use what I have. But if you don't have that, you can always use any other female head that you have, that you can take off the hair part. That's the most important part. And you have to, okay, so this is the difficult part. You have to fill it in with an epoxy clay, and I cannot sculpt. Honestly, that's why I made this kit bash custom. But using the epoxy sculpt for making the head round is just like making a snowball. It's really easy. Even I can do it. If you don't have that, you can also use some of your male bald heads parts that you have, like the angel one. But yeah, search for some other heads that you don't want to use, and I think it'll work out fine. And yeah, I just repaint it. This is just a test paint, but the after, I'm not the best painter, but it's a basic paint. It looks like her, kinda. It looks like her enough, and I like it. And I'm satisfied with the head, but it sits a little low on the neck, so I use some glue tack to make it sit higher. I mean, there's some kind of a gap in the head and neck, but it's not too big of a deal, I don't think. Oh yeah, and about the epoxy clay, once they're dried, you might need to sand them off a little bit. I sand them very lightly, not a lot of sanding work. And now let's move on to the jacket part. As you can see, you can take it off and on. It's not attached to the figure. This jacket actually I got from a knockoff low-key figure from the Avengers wave, and it's really cheap. You can get it for like $2. They sent from China on eBay. You can also find some local one, I think. They come with the staff, the helmet. You just get a lot with it, although it is a little bit smaller, but for a female figure the jacket fits perfectly. And I figure it looks good with her because she has that jacket look, and there's like some long parts that is attached to her left and right shoulders, and it just looks like this jacket. So although it might not exactly look like it, it works. And as I said, I'm not trying to make this figure exactly like they look like in movies. I just want them to look like they're inspired from the movies. Now let's move on to the body part. The body part actually is from the Elektra Netflix figure. It's really cheap because there's a lot of it and there's no one really collecting the Netflix figures, and you can find this for like $10. even below that. And I also really need the hands for my Nakia figure because I need to change it because I don't like Nakia wearing the Dora Milaje orange costume. She's always wearing green in the movie, so I was like, no, I want to change her look to a spy warrior one with the green seam, and I figured her hands don't match that, so I decided to take the Electra hands for her and painted her skin color. Oh, yeah, and I also needed the Electra head to be my Melina, the Black Widow, because they've made the Red Guardian and the Yelena Belova one. I really want her to complete my figures, so I used the Black Widow Infinity War body, and the head I used this Electra head and painted some new face. Not really new face, I just painted her eyebrows thickly and differently than her original figure, and a little bit in her eyes, and she looks enough like Rachel Weisz. For the upper body part, I colored it two different color from her whole jacket, robe, and hood thing because I don't want the same yellow over and over again. So the outer part is kind of like a little bit more orange and the inner part is a little bit more white. So it'll be like different yellows but also kind of the same. But yeah, I colored the yellow on the hood part, the jacket part, and the sleeves part the same kind of yellow to make it look like they're the same part of her. Her legs and belly part are also black, that match so well with the ancient one that we see in the movies. And if you really want to go all out, you want it to look more like what ancient one looked like in the movie, you can always use the white Dazzler figure because that had some awesome pants and it looks like what it looks like in a movie. But of course you're gonna have to pay a lot more money for that figure. Now moving on to the arm parts, they are actually from another figure, the Dazzler figures, the blue one with the jacket on. She has the same half sleeve look that ancient one has in the movie, so I figured it would be a good fit. And I really need the hair part also for my short Captain Marvel head version. Oh, and the belt part. Plus it is really cheap on the market. It's like $8. I find one for $8. Painted the sleeves yellow and the skin tone to match with her face and neck. For the alternatives for the hand part, you can use the Rogue, nearly extinct Rogue figure, but that's really expensive. So I really think this is the easiest and cheapest option that you can get from Dazzler. You can also use Jessica Jones part and the Captain Marvel bomber jacket part, but they're long sleeves, so if you're not bothered by it, go ahead and use it. Well, moving on to her hands. Her hands and skirt piece are actually from a Hippolyta figure. She's Wonder Woman's mother, I believe, and her figure is also really cheap. Found one for also $8. It was loose and I don't know what to do with the body yet, but I used the hands for her, works fine, and the skirt piece, it just looks what it looks like in a movie. I painted it a different kind of yellow, almost like goldish. For the skirt piece, the alternatives you can use are the Lady Thor skirt piece, the Doctor Strange one, there's also the Adam Warlock one, Brother Voodoo, I guess. Any skirt that you can find is fine, but I wanted mine to have a longer skirt look, and she's the closest that I can get Hippolyta figure. And the skirt piece I really like because it's soft plastic, so you can bend it however you like. You can also move the legs very freely. It's not a restriction like And yeah, it looks good whenever you pose her. Now moving on to the last part, and part that probably you're not gonna like, the effect part. I didn't make those. They're I bought them from a customizer, but they're like $7 and you get a lot of effects from him. They're in my country, so I don't know if he ships internationally. If you're from the United States or wherever else in the world, I think it'll be quite difficult to find them, even though they're really cheap. But they're made out of acrylic glasses. They're like thick plastic, and the color is original. Like it comes in different colors, like green and oranges, and he just cuts them with laser, and you can program a machine to do it, I guess. And he made this and sold it online, bought it, and it looks good, and that's why I wanted to make this figure in the first place, because I had the effects but not the figure, except for the effects that I used on Doctor Strange. It looks good and it fits into her hand perfectly. And I also have some spare ones that I'm gonna use for my custom Wong figure. And so that's the final figure that I made, kit bash and painted. And yeah, I'm satisfied with the look, man. So let me know in the comments below what you think of the figure, whether it is good enough to you or if it sucks and I should stop customizing. Just let me know in the comments below. I hope it sparks your interest in starting customizing, even though I'm a beginner myself. And also tell me if you're really inspired by this and you want to make one your own, and if you want me to make other videos such as this for, I don't know, maybe Iron Fist or Nakia or future Agent 13, let me know and maybe I'll make a video of it. But since I explained to you already, I don't think I need to. So that's all from me for now. See you guys again next time, maybe. Take care and keep collecting.